What's up everybody, PlayNedge here on BentDice. Today we're going to be discussing a topic that a lot of people have very strong opinions about. We're going to be discussing recap. So to start off, recap is a tricky subject, right? There's the belief that the players should be doing it, there's the belief that the DM should be doing it, there's the belief that maybe the players should be doing it in character. There's a bunch of different ideas on how recap should be done. So it's generally agreed upon that it should be done. So we're going to start off, we're going to discuss, what are the points of recap? Why do we do it? Why is it there? And then we're going to discuss about exactly who should be doing it, and then also, how to do a better one afterwards. So the reason we do recap is pretty self-explanatory. It's basically like when you watch a TV show, you have that previously on insert TV show name here. It's to remind the players and the DM about what happened last time so that everyone can have a better understanding of what's going to happen right when the game starts. It's a very good thing to do first off. It gets the players into the mood, it gets the DM into the mood. That way people aren't still out of character trying to get into the game. It really it integrates the players into the game very seamlessly. That's what a good recap should do. Now, a good recap should also be, reminding the players, reminding the DM what happened. It should be bringing up important events, things that were important plot-wise, things that were important to the characters, different events like that. So we're going to start off discussing about who should be doing recap. Now, I personally am under the belief that the DM should do the recap. I have a few reasons why. We're going to get into those real quick, but players are generally actually asked to do recap, but if you really think about it, does the player know what's important? The player experiences the campaign through their character. So if their experience is not exactly what's happening, but what they're experiencing, then, they're not going to give the best recap. So it brings us to the point that players don't know exactly what's important. And that's mainly just because they don't know everything that's going on. As the DM, you have that, you know what's going on. You have the whole picture. You're the one that's creating the story for the players. So you know what's important, you know what's going to be coming up, you know all that. So your recap is going to be more inclusive. It's going to be a lot better in terms of the content that is going to be inside of it. It's not going to be just about one player's character and what they experienced. Now, that being said, there is an important thing that people don't quite recognize. Everyone thinks that they have a good memory. Most people do. Some people recognize they don't. And that's good, because let me tell you something. People do not have good memories. No one does. Everyone forgets a lot of things all the time. You might think you remember exactly what happened last week in your session, but you don't remember exactly what happened. Now, your brain will fill in what it thinks happened, and there will be, differences between each person. So it's really important to remember that, people aren't going to remember exactly what happened, and that's why recap is important. If you don't remember what happened exactly, then it could cause you to have an issue later on. So let's say you are about to begin a combat and then the session ends. Now you might have everyone on a combat grid, and everyone on the combat grid might be in a certain location relative to the monster that they're about to fight. Now the session ends, next week you come back, and if you've moved your combat grid and everybody else, then you then have to remember where people are. Now, you can obviously just take a picture, but this goes along the lines of, remember, people's memory aren't that good. No one's going to remember exactly where they were. Now, the point of the picture is to remind you. The point of recap is to remind you. They serve the same purpose. So another reason why players shouldn't be doing recap is because they don't know what's going to be coming up next. Let's say they fight a bunch of kobolds, their first session adventuring. They fight the yellow banded kobolds who wear yellow bands on their wrists that they die. And let's say they get rid of most of them, though a few of them survive, and they move. So they start a new clan somewhere else. And let's say that, 5 weeks later, they're going to be coming back. Like they want revenge on the players. Now, a player doing recap is not going to know that they're going to come back, whereas the DM will know. And so the DM can maybe give them a little reminder of like, hey, you remember those kobolds you killed 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago? Yeah, they're gonna be coming. You need to remember who they are because they're gonna be coming back today. You need to be a little careful with that, obviously, because if you tell them everything that's going to happen, they're gonna not have any surprise. So maybe when you do your recap, you go, hey, previously, your party did this, and this. Oh, and remember those kobolds that you fought a week ago or 4 weeks ago? Yeah, they're still there. So it's kind of a tricky business there. It's hard to remind someone of something without making them think that it's going to be coming up. But it's kind of like any TV show you watch, like Game of Thrones or anything like that, where they have previously on insert TV name here. It just happens, like there's scenes from episodes long ago, and that's going to be important, though you don't know how. And that's how you really want to do it, is you want to make sure that they are reminded of them, but not that they know what's going to happen with them. Finally, we're going to get into how to do the recap. Now, recap is it's pretty easy, though it is a little daunting, especially since a lot of the people who think that the players should do it, the DMs, they don't prepare anything. But this is something that you should be doing. In my opinion, the DM should be doing is during the game. You're going to start doing your recap during the game. You're going to be writing down what the players are doing. So while they're doing things, write down in your little notebook like, hey, they went to the manor and they started eating dinner there. That way you have a list of each event that happened sequentially, so that when you're trying to write your recap, you're not going based on your memory, because you might not want to write your recap the same night as the D&D session. It goes along the lines of people have bad memories. You need to know what happened. You have your list. Now you need to start writing your recap. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to state what the party was trying to accomplish. So this could be along the lines of the party seeking help from the Archmage in the tower, and then yada yada yada, the rest of the stuff. And so that way there's this framework for why the party was doing the things you're about to say. So you have your goal. Now the next step is to have the events. So these are going to be things that you have in your list. They're going to be things like, seeking the help of the Archmage. The players asked a contact where he was living at the moment, and they sought him out, went to his tower, found that he wasn't there, found a note that said he was actually leaving and going to look for an artifact, and so the players are now on their way to go to the artifact. So you're gonna basically just summarize the events, and now this is where you would put in the comments about the kobolds. So seeking the help of the Archmage, the players went to the tower, and they saw a yellow wristband in the on a table somewhere. Now they might not have actually seen that on the table, but you can kind of lie in your recap. Again, people have bad memories. They're not going to remember that exactly. But if you remind them, hey, there's a yellow wristband, they're going to think, oh, those yellow wristbanded kobolds, those might be important. So again, it's along the lines of being sneaky, very sneaky about how you're reintroducing your recurring themes. And finally, at the end of your recap, all you're doing is you're transitioning it into the game. So this is going to be like the players are on the road seeking the Archmage, and all of a sudden they hear a noise or something like that, and that just gets them into the game. It transitions so that there's no awkward like pause waiting for the players to do something. Give them something that they were doing, or give them something new. Like they hear a noise from the bush, and it turns out there's like some bear in the bushes behind them. That way there's something that happens right away, and it transitions the players really easily into the game. Alright, that's going to be it for today. Hope you guys liked the video. If you did, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you have any advice, any criticism, anything like that, even compliments. And I'm going to see you guys next week. Have a good one.